Good morning, students of class 8. Welcome to our English period, and today let us discuss the question answers of the poem The Worm. So, before we start writing down the question answers in the notebook, you are supposed to write down the words and meanings which are there to the right hand side of the poem. So, let us discuss the first question. Why should we take care even of small worms? So, the answer to this particular question is we should take care even of small worms because they too are created by the same God who created us. Full stop. You will have to listen to the recording very carefully, assuming that I am dictating and you are writing down the answers. Fine. So without making any mistakes, be it the punctuations or the spellings, you will complete the chapter. Fine. Now the next question. What other creatures of God are mentioned? The other creatures of God mentioned are the sun. This T will be small. The sun, comma, the moon and the stars. Full stop. Very simple. Explain the thought in the last two lines in simple words. So the answer is, from the last two lines, we understand that if we can't give life, we must not take away anybody's life. Full stop. So these were the question and answers of the poem The Worm. Now let us move on to the next activity, which is there in the English workshop below. Give the modern words for the archaic words from the poem. So these are some of the words that you have come across in this poem are the old-fashioned words like thee, thou, thy. Fine. So let us try to write down the modern words for those old-fashioned words. So thy means your, being means life. Then bestowed means given. E has been replaced by an apostrophe. We understand the word would have been this way: bestowed. E is missing. Instead, the poet has mentioned an apostrophe. It is allowed by the poets and the authors. So what does that mean? It means given. Thee means you. Thou means you. Now what is the difference between these two? So thee means you and it is used as the singular subject of a verb. It is used as the singular subject of the verb. And what is thee? Thee is again you and it is used as a singular object of a verb. Fine. Now, like for example, if this is the case, thee, okay, it is used as a singular subject of the verb. So, you are very good. So, it is the subject of the verb. What is the verb? It is are. So, it is the subject of the verb. Okay. In such cases, the subject is placed before the finite verb. What is the finite verb here? It is are. So, the subject is placed before the finite verb. So, this is an example of a singular subject of a verb. Fine. And now, what is this? This again means you, but this is used as a singular object of a verb. Singular object. I gave the book to you. So, this is you over here. Is it there in the subject's place? No. Who is doing the action? It is I. So, I is the doer and hence it becomes this I becomes a subject in this particular sentence. And where is you? It is here. Where is it placed? It is placed after the finite verb. What is the finite verb? It is gave. Fine. So it is used as the object of the verb. This, it is used as the subject of the verb. In this case, you is used as the object of the singular verb. Fine. And canst means can't. Now, the poet uses a device where he directly addresses someone absent or abstract. Such a device is the figure of speech called apostrophe. Right? So we know what an abstract noun is, things that we cannot see or touch, but we can feel. So for example, turn thy hasty foot aside. To whom is the poet saying this? The poet is saying this to all mankind. So is all the mankind present in front of the poet? No. So it is absent, the mankind, or he is urging it to all the people on this earth, isn't it? So are we present there in front of him? No, we are absent. So this becomes, or this particular line becomes an example of apostrophe. Fine. And then what is our job? Pick out any two other lines from the poem that contain an apostrophe. So I hope you know what an apostrophe is. There is another example. If you remember, if you have watched my previous videos on figures of speech, so I explained to you what apostrophe is. For example, let me tell you, O death, where is thy sting? So the poet is addressing to whom? With whom is the poet talking here? To death, isn't it? The poet is assumed to talk to death, and therefore it is written this way: O death, where is thy sting? O death, where is your sting? Isn't it? So, can we see death? Does it have a form like you and me? No, it is abstract. It is an abstract noun. It is an abstract thing. So, such a figure of speech is called as an apostrophe, where we address a non-living thing or an abstract thing or an absent one. Okay, so that becomes an apostrophe. So, which are the two lines that are mentioned of this particular device, apostrophe? So they are here. Let them enjoy the little day, their lowly bliss received. Or we can just write down this particular line. Okay. So this one is the example of apostrophe. You will find out the other sentence or the other line from the poem. So now let us move on to the next question. Think and answer in your own words in your notebook. So these questions you will have to answer, but let me try to help you out. Why does the poet appeal to us to respect the life of worms? Why do you think so? Because they too are created by the same God, isn't it? Because they too are created by the same God. Why do you think God created worms? What is their ecological importance? So I believe that you have learned about the about the earthworms in science. So I leave this question to you, or should I explain? So let me explain the answer. Worms make the soil fertile and allows more water and air to enter the soil. They make the soil loose because of their movement, isn't it? They help in the decomposition of organic matter like rotten leaves, vegetables, grass, etc. into usable things that can be utilized by plants. So this is the use of the worms. So nothing like whatever God has created, there was or there is always an objective behind its existence. So what is the importance of the worms? So this is the importance that I just told you now. Live and let live is a famous proverb. Which lines from the poem support this proverb? So the last two lines support the proverb. Oh, do not lightly take away the life thou canst not give. So you will write down these two lines. Does the poem urge us to protect only worms? No, the poem does not urge us to protect only worms. It urges us to protect all the living beings. What is the general message conveyed through this poem? The general message conveyed through this poem is live and let live. Full stop. So these were the answers that I just discussed with you. Please go through all these questions and try to complete them. I must see the homework. I must see your question answers of this particular poem, and also the poem vocation. And I give you a time of 2 days. I haven't received any kind of homework, images of any homework from any of the students of both the classes, that is from 8th and 8B. Please do the necessary things. Please do the needful. Whatever has been told to you, please follow the orders and do it right away. See you in the next session. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.